In this mini video, we're going to look a little deeper into how to access HTML elements using JavaScript. We've already seen how we can access a uniquely identified element using getElementById. What we're going to see in this video is how to access all elements of a particular tag, such as P or H1. And then we're going to see how to access all elements that have a particular class name. I'm also going to show you how JavaScript can change the style of an element. Our example for this video is a simple web page that displays the lyrics of a nice song about Friday and the weekend. And essentially, what I would like to be able to do is type a word in the box at the top, click find, and then have JavaScript highlight any paragraphs that that word appears in. Of course, right now, nothing happens. So the very first thing I want to do is create an event handler that constantly monitors for click events on this button, and upon the occurrence of a click, triggers some function. Let's call the function findWord. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to quickly test that the event handler is working properly by writing the special event object to the console, making sure it appears there. Next, I want to extract the word that the user has typed into the input field. As usual, I'm going to identify the element using the getElementById method. And then, to extract what the user has typed into it, I'm going to make use of this property value. Just to make sure this is all working as intended, I'm going to write the word to the console and make sure it is indeed Friday. Now that I've extracted the word, what I want to do is iterate over all the paragraphs of lyrics and see if that word exists in any of them. So to achieve this, I'm going to make use of a method called getElementsByTagName, and in this case it's going to return a collection of all the P elements in the document. If we write the variable to the console, we can see that, as expected, we've got 9 paragraphs that we are able to iterate over. I'm going to implement that iteration using a for-of loop to extract the P elements one by one. For each P element in turn, I'm going to extract its contents using the inner HTML property and assign it to a variable called pContent. Note here that I've declared the variable with let rather than var. All this means is that the variable scope is limited to this for loop. As a quick test, I'm going to write pContent to the console, and you can see that the lyrics from each paragraph do appear there as expected. So the final part of the puzzle is to test whether the word that was entered by the user appears in the paragraph. So how do we do this? Well, we can actually make use of a string method provided by JavaScript. It's simply called search, and it returns the position of the word in the string if it exists there, or -1 otherwise. Since we don't care about where the word is located, only that it is there somewhere, we will just test that the return value is not -1. So given that this represents the case where a word has been found, how do we change the color of the text? Well, the syntax is simply to write style dot the name of the CSS property and then the value that you want to change it to. Now, when we search for Friday, we can see that the chorus is correctly highlighted given that it contains the word. But unfortunately, it also highlights the page's introduction, which isn't part of the lyrics. One possible solution to this is, instead of searching for all of the P elements, we only search for elements with the class name first. This we can do using the method getElementsByClassName. So that's one problem solved, but unfortunately it turns out that the search is case sensitive. The way I'm going to fix this is by using the built-in string methods of JavaScript to convert both the word and the lyrics all to lowercase and doing the search on that basis. Alternatively, you could do a case-insensitive search using a regular expression, but we're not going to cover that today. With that issue fixed, There's one final thing I'd like to deal with, and that's the fact that when you search for a different word, the text that was highlighted previously remains highlighted. Here, for example, the second of the highlighted paragraphs does not contain the word year. It's only highlighted due to the previous search for Friday. This is easily fixed by assigning the value null to the same property when the word does not match. Brilliant! And that brings us to the end of this mini video. We looked at accessing HTML elements using JavaScript, methods like getElement by ID, getElements by tag name, getElements by class name, and we saw how we could iterate over these collections of elements using for/of loops. We looked at how we could access text inputs using the value property. We looked at how we could declare block-scoped variables using let. And finally, we looked at how we could change the values of CSS properties. See you next time.